Hey guys, we're coming at you with the January White Dwarf, the Siege of Lithis, donated by Line Breakers from Victorville, California. Always hit them up on their website and their Discord page. That will be linked in the description. So to get started on this White Dwarf, we're actually going to go to the basic training for Age of Sigmar for a lot of you Age of Sigmar newcomers. Now this will show you, the proper way to use your units when it comes to range units or cavalry charges and such, and how to position everything that you need to know. And it also gives you a brief description of the abilities such as anti-X, charge, companions, criticals, crit auto wounds, mortals, and shooting in combat. Because can't deny, even I, as a veteran player that's been playing since 2nd edition, have trouble remembering these 4th edition rules. Gives you insight on what to do, what are the best strategies to use against certain enemy types and such. So you'll be able to get a solid foundation with basic training. Moving on to 40k with the new combat patrols that are coming out. Oh, I can see my camera went out of focus for a bit. There we go. Sorry about that. But moving on to combat patrols. First we have the Strike Platoon Gorgon. I believe that's how it's pronounced. 6 with a Talrox Prime, 20 Tempest Scion models, and Creeth's Command Squad. As we see with their abilities, they have the voice of command, obviously with any Astra Militarum army. The default to the enhancement is the Covert Commando. Models in the bearer's unit have the stealth ability, which is great. -1 to hit, always great. Enemies cannot use fire Overwatch stratagem to shoot at the bearer's unit. Lovely. For any type of deep strike shenanigans you've got. Deep strike shenanigans or jumping in and out of transports. That is actually a big thing, not being overwatched. Next, for the optional enhancement, Close Assault Doctrine. Range weapons equipped by the bearer's unit has the pistol ability. So hotshot las guns in melee works wonders. And then each time you target a bearer's unit for Overwatch, you're hitting on 5s instead of 6s. So if you have innate rerolls or giving rerolls of some sort, this would be great. And I believe there should be some sort of rerolls, but we'll check in the data slates. Now for the default secondary objective, Cordon Imperator. From the second battle round onward, at the end of your command phase, you score 4 victory points if you control the objective marker closest to the battlefield edge, and you control one other objective marker within, or with wholly within no man's land. Not that hard to compete, and not that hard, especially with the amount of shenanigans that Scions can do. The optional secondary objective is the Tempest of the Emperor. You score 3 victory points each time an Astra Militarum model from your army destroys an enemy unit at the start of the phase within range of 1 or more objective markers. So killing things on objective markers, great. You cannot score within 12 points from this objective, from this secondary objective. So the fact that there's a cap on it, Now, depending on what army you're facing, depending on what army you're facing, if it's like an army that you could like deal with, but also has a lot of models, so we're thinking Tyranids, maybe some Orc combat patrols, Tyranid combat patrols, you could cap this. But I believe in any other situation you would want to take the default secondary objective, just for the fact that there's no cap and you could, do with it a lot. You could get away with it a lot more, especially with deep striking and such. Serval. Now we're gonna move on to stratagems here. Serval Augur Array. Now, if I'm butchering these names, I'm really sorry. But with this stratagem, 1 CP, not that bad. At the end of your command phase, 1 Astromilitar unit from your army. Select 1 objective marker you control that is within range of that objective. Oh, so you're spending a CP for sticky objective. Not bad. And it's let's see. That objective remains under your control until your opponent levels the control over that objective marker or is greater than yours at the end of the phase. So sticky objectives, pretty much. Swift execution, 1 CP during the movement phase. 1 Astromilitar infantry unit from your army has not been selected to move. At the end of the phase, add 3 movement characteristics of models to that unit. So, kind of it's not as good as like some other stratagems, like with the Tau, one of my main armies, aggressive mobility, where it's just 6-inch automatic advance. This just adds 3 to the movement, which is great because it still leaves you with an advancement. But we're gonna have to see how it's played in the future. Indoctrinated obedience. For the last stratagem. Your opponent's shooting phase just after the enemy unit has selected its target. 1 Astromilitar unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more attack. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if that model has not shot in this phase, roll a D6, adding 3 if your unit has the vehicle keyword on a 3-up. Do not remove the destroyed unit model from play. It can shoot after the attacking model has finished making its attack. So that is removed from play. So this is great, shooting on death, wonderful. Especially with hotshot las guns, them being AP1, damage 1, strength 4, facing like a weaker army like T3, you could definitely do some damage. Now we're moving on to the data cards. Now we're gonna start with the command squad. Going on to the command squad, come with bolt pistol, hotshot las guns, plasma gun, not bad, but let's look at the abilities. Tempestor Prime. While this unit contains a Tempestor Prime Creeth model, range weapons equipped by these models have sustained hits 1. This is actually great. Sustain hits 1, great. Gotta maximize the amount of shots. We take a look at the Tempestus Scions. Hotshot las guns. That's what we want to look at. Strength 3. Not bad. I thought they were strength 4. Looks like they're strength 3. AP1, damage 1. Great when you're going against, like another T3 unit. But their ability, Stormtroopers. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack Reroll the wound roll of 1 if they're on an objective. 4 rerolls to wound, which is great, but I would really want something for the rerolls to hit. Let's look at the Taurox Prime. Let's look at their abilities. Transport support. In your shooting phase, after an enemy model has shot, select one unit that was hit. After this model has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks until the end of the phase each time a model disembarks from this transport. This turn makes a attack that targets the enemy unit. You can reroll the hit roll. So this is the way I think this could be used. It's going to be a lot of leapfrogging. Just Tempestus Scions jumping in and out. Just a Tempestus Scion jumping in and out of this transport. Just to get those rerolls to hit to make the sustained hits work. But can't even put it in. So it's going to be a regular Tempestus Scion unit. Rerolls to hit roll, rerolls roll of 1. Not bad. If we could pair that up with Command Squad leading a Tempestus Scion unit, it'd be way better. Be able to maximize the amount of shots that you can. Sadly, can't. It would be 15 models, maximum 12. That's a bit of a shame. But I'm interested in what a lot of players can pull off with shenanigans like these. Now going on to Necrons, taking on the Mind Flancer Murder Court. Looking at this, it seems like more of a So you have 2 units of flayed ones, 2 units of Ophidian destroyers, a unit of immortals, and leader. Obviously, Necrons with the reanimation protocol makes it very difficult to wipe them off the field. You really have to focus fire them. Now the Psychomancer is the warlord of the unit of this and has the Neuroflance protocol enhancement. And you could replace it with Shambling Resurrections. Obviously in the combat patrol, I believe Shambling Resurrections would be the go-to. Yeah, I believe it would be the go-to. Lets you do reanimation protocols twice in a battle round, which it is great. But that precision ability, being able to take out character units rather quickly, and adds 3 attack characteristics while targeting a battle shocked unit. And as we know, guardsmen, they don't have the best leadership. But I'm sure a lot of people are going to be taking the Shambling Resurrections. Now, moving on to the secondary objective, prioritize incision. At the start of the first battle round, select one unit from your opponent's army. That unit, then your opponent must select another unit from their army. At the end of the battle, you score 6 victory points for each unit selected that is destroyed. Now this is scary. This can actually prove devastating, especially if the rolls are high with them, and they could get a loss. They could get all these wound rolls, hit rolls off. But taking a look at the optional secondary objective from the second battle round onwards, well, the name of it, Empirical Harvesting. From the second battle round onwards, at the end of your command phase, you score 2 victory points at least as many objective control. If you control as many objective markers as your opponent does, you score 2 more points. Okay, so thinking about it strategically, I believe for like obvious reasons, people are going to go with empirical harvesting. It's going to be the best way to do it, best way to win games. Obviously, if you want to go for the fence and try to eliminate units, it is possible. But if you're punching up, it's going to be a struggle, so you want survivability over punching up. Now if we take a look at the stratagems over here, Extermination Directive. For 1 CP, in your shooting or your fight phase. 1 Necron unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight until the end of that phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, you can reroll the hit roll 1. If that target is battle-struck, you can get full rerolls to hit. This is great. Maximizing hit rolls is great. It's not innate, but it's great. It would be good. Piling efficiency. So these are going to be for the what do they call it? Flesh Slayers, I believe. In your opponent's movement, just after an enemy unit has been selected, fall back. Target 1 Necrons unit from your army within engagement range of that unit. After an enemy unit ends up falling back, move 1d6 normal move. Move up to 1d6 plus 1. So you could get back in charging distance. This is great. This is actually great. If they had this in actual like 40k and like in one of their detachments, this would actually be great. Eldritch Nightmares. Select one your opponent's shooting range just after an enemy unit has selected targets. 1 Necron unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more attacks. The enemy must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result if it's within 12 inches of that unit. Forcing battle shock. That's not bad. That's actually pretty great. And then looking at the data cards, we're going to take a look at these abilities over here. First, we have the Mind Flenser. I'm not going to try to say that first name. Necron names are always giving me trouble here, but we're going to take a look at these abilities though. Harbinger of Despair. Once per turn at the start of your command, movement, shooting, charge, or fight phase, you can select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of this model. That unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the test. When it does so, that is great. That is just straight up bullying. And then going down to the Immortals, Impeccable Eradication. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, reroll wound rolls of 1. If the target of the attack is within range of a projectile marker, full rerolls to wound roll. That's actually same thing that the Scions have. But as we know, Immortals are hard to take down. T5, they're sitting up there. 3-up save, yeah, they're in that Goldilocks zone. I wouldn't taking these guys out would be a pain. Now taking on the flamed ones, nothing crazy. No infiltrators and stealth, so you can get them on the board rather quickly. Now we're looking at the destroyers. They have deep strike, so they're coming in behind. That's gonna make them pretty asinine. Now coming from here, we're actually gonna go to some of the kill team relics. But in actuality, yeah, we're gonna take a look at the kill team relics. No, I don't personally play Kill Team, but I am looking to get into it as well. I actually might do Drukari for Kill Team just because of the amount of shenanigans they could pull off. But Relic Ploy, Relatory Glare, whenever an NPO is shooting an operative, a player operative that is within 3 inches of the relic objective marker, that NPO ranged weapon has a +5 lethal weapon roll. Okay, so I'm guessing it's like maybe like an auto wound on 5s. Whenever an NPO within 6 inches of this relic. Okay, so these appear to be like buffs. Holy Fire, inflict D3 damage on each player operative within 3 inches of the relic objective marker. Roll each separately. If no player objectives are within distance, draw a different card. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the Defend Outpost, because we, over at Wall Hub, we are going to be playing Defend the Outpost. We are going to be playing, and it's going to be me, Bushwookie, with Kix, and I believe he would be, I don't know what army would he be running, but I'll most likely be running my guardsman army when we're out there. So you could look forward to this. This is actually, I have a feeling this is actually be a fun game, and it's going to be a little bit more thematic when it comes to the game. So Defend Outpost, mission rules, contest front lines. At the start of the deploying army step, both players must select area terrain features with wholly within their battlefield half to be their defended outpost. At first, the attacker selects one area terrain to be featured, one of their defender outposts. The defender must select 2 area terrain features to be their defended outpost. And finally, the attacker must select one other terrain feature to be their other defended outpost. In the deploying army step, when setting up units from their army on the battlefield, for each of their defended outposts, each player can select one unit from their army wholly within the terrain feature. At the start of the battle, each defended outpost is considered not to be overrun at the end of the player's turn. For each of their defended outposts, if there are one or more enemy units within that terrain feature, excluding battle shock units, and there are no units from the player's army that are not battle shocked also within the terrain feature, it is considered overrun. Secondary assets. At the end of the command phase, if you control at least as many objective markers as your opponent, you gain 1 CP. So basically take over your opponent's defended outpost. Hold at all costs. It's the mission objective. From the second battle round onwards, at the end of each player's turn, that player scores 10 victory points for each of their defended outposts that is not overrun. So objective markers, we gotta hold for CP. Terrain, we gotta hold for points. Consolidate positions. At the end of the battle, each player scores 10 for each objective marker they control. So this is all about positioning and survivability. It's gonna make a game rather interesting, and I'm kind of excited to play this. You could look forward to this at most likely near the end of February for this game, and I can't wait to play it. But we'll see you guys next time when it comes to the February White Dwarf.